As a Spanish person, have you ever greeted people from the UK? And as a UK citizen, have you ever greeted Spanish people? Has it been awkward? Well, let me help you out with that. You're not alone. Hablamos de todo en la segunda parte. Ojalá tuviera yo un español más decente. Well, as you probably know, I am an English person living in Spain. My wife, my beautiful wife, well, she's Spanish and all of her family's Spanish. And so we've spent the last 22 years going backwards and forwards, meeting people in the UK people, my family, meeting the Spanish people, etc. Add to that, for the last 10 years, we've been doing immersion courses in Madrid and having lots of people from other countries coming to Spain. If there's one theme, one moment that is awkward, it's in the greeting. Why should it be so awkward to greet people? Well, it's because of the way that we greet. So here in Spain, if you are being introduced as a man being introduced to a woman, or two women being introduced to one another, there is a very strict protocol. And I'm speaking about Spain. Everywhere I've gone, I've seen this, but I could be wrong. It might be different in other places. But here in my zone, what happens is this. Somebody says, te presento a María. And you say, hola María, encantado. And you kiss. You go left and then right. 2 kisses, okay? And touch of the cheek. It's like, so it's a bit of an air kiss with a cheek touch. That's a standard thing. And typically if I'm doing this with my family, if I'm greeting my family, my Spanish family, then I might put my hands on their arms like this and, okay? Men to women, women to women. When men meet each other here in Spain, typically they shake hands. There are 2 people in my life, 2 men in my life that when they meet me, they give me a kiss, all right? Just like I used to experience in Morocco. It was always in Morocco the men would give each other kisses. And so I'm accustomed to it. It was a bit dodgy at the beginning. I felt a wee bit uncomfortable coming from the UK and men were kissing my cheeks. However, 2 people do it. One person who's in my family kisses me on the cheek, only one. And also the man who owns the bar in which we have the parties with the immersion course. When I meet him, he gives me a kiss. He just decided to. I think he likes me. He's married. He just seems to like me and he wants to give me a kiss. Okay, super duper. But that's not typical. Typically, handshake. Very typically. You know, maybe handshake and a touch of the arm, something like that. Hey, hola, ¿qué tal? Something like that. But that's it. And then we come to the UK. When people are introduced, they shake hands. It doesn't matter who it is, they shake hands, okay? If you live in the country, you shake hands like that. As far away from the person as you can get. If you are more used to being around people, you might be a bit more, you know, a bit closer. But we shake hands. Between family members, and this is where it also gets a bit dodgy, between family members in the UK, we very often, certainly from my area, we hug one another, but we don't kiss, except for grannies and mums who try to kiss you and leave lipstick on your face and things like that. But typically we hug. If we haven't seen somebody for a while, we'll hug them. So what's the problem? Well, the problem is that the amount of times that I've seen these moments happen where one of my family members is meeting one of my familia politica, okay, one of my Spanish family, and they meet. So what happens is because we love one another and we're all very friendly, my family goes to hug. My Spanish family goes to kiss. And that's where it gets messy. Because what typically happens is this, generally. So when we hug, we tend to go to the left. And that's great because Spanish people also go to the left. The difficulty is we get them into a bear hug and then the Spanish person is trying then to pull back to get to the other side, to kiss. And of course they can't because we've got them in a bear hug. And so sometimes I've seen moments where there's a lot of face touching, like lips on lips and cheeks on cheeks. And it's a mess. And quite often what happens is they end up giving a hug, a very awkward hug with a lot of like, let me go because I need to kiss the other side. And then the Spanish person releases themselves. It's a bit like a wrestling match. They release themselves and then they complete. And so, what is the answer? Well, there isn't an answer, except if you know that you are going to greet a Spanish person, let them give you a couple of kisses. Let go of them. If you give them a hug, absolutely, but let go of them so that they can get to the other side and be happy that they've done the 2 kisses and then hug them again. Yeah, definitely. I would do that. If you don't want a Spanish person to kiss you, then what you have to do is you have to go first and stick your hand out like that, okay? And just let them know and have your arm as far away from your body as you possibly can. And just let them know that you're going to shake the hand, okay? So that you kind of got to pull your body away. If not, they're going to get a hold of you and they're going to kiss you to death. And just to finish, it's interesting because they have 2 ways of talking about kissing. One is darle un beso a alguien, right? Give somebody a kiss. That's the darle un beso, which is very different to besar a alguien. And that's the full-blown kissing. Un beso is the typical. You want to say goodbye to somebody, you go, well, dame un beso. Okay? If you say to somebody, bésame, that's a very different instruction. That is, get the lips on me. And obviously that's only for limited people in your life. Dame un beso, much better. There was a lady I worked with in Mexico who didn't learn any Spanish except sí, no, and bésame apasionadamente. She liked that. She learned it from a song. And that held her in great stead in Mexico. And I think she probably was passionately kissed a number of times because of learning that. Hey ho. Bueno, eso es todo, chicos. Nos vemos la próxima vez. Cuidado, con los besos y los abrazos. A ver si puedes evitar la lucha libre con los españoles. Hasta luego. Ojalá tuviera